While at the peak of his music success, d.r.a.m made the most significant change an artist can make. Following his now 8-time platinum hit Broccoli, one of the biggest songs of 2016, Virginia artist d.r.a.m made the risky decision to ditch his artist alias and rebrand to something totally different. His government name Shelley.
Shelley, my God-given name. I like that.
But despite d.r.a.m hoping that this new identity would showcase his artistic evolution and propel him to new heights, instead it's done the complete opposite, as his career has never been the same since. However, while it's easy for us to say that d.r.a.m is the perfect example of how not to handle a massive hit song, seeing as he essentially ran away from Broccoli, although many label him just another one-hit wonder, as we're about to see in this video though, perhaps that's exactly what d.r.a.m wanted.
Felt like records like Broccoli and Cash Machine overpowered the totality of what I did.
The music video for Broccoli currently has close to 500 million views on YouTube alone. However, d.r.a.m's recent videos struggled to even hit 20,000. In addition to now falling under 3 million monthly listeners on Spotify, with many of those streams coming from old playlists featuring Broccoli, it's no secret that d.r.a.m's career did not pan out like many of us expected. Now, if you're wondering why I keep calling him d.r.a.m in a video about him changing his stage name, although he did switch it to Shelley at the peak of his popularity, after realizing the damage of that decision, he has finally returned back to going by d.r.a.m. Although, for being honest, it is far too late. But regardless of whichever name you refer to him as, to the average mainstream listener, d.r.a.m will always be known as simply the guy who made that one-hit song Broccoli. Something that, as we'll see in a second, was actually a huge factor behind his rebrand. However, the truth is, d.r.a.m's soon-to-be Diamond Smash hit featuring Lil Yachty wasn't even his breakout song.
It's a lot of people that heard this Broccoli record and they don't know that I did Cha-Cha.
Right.
Prior to dropping the most unavoidable track of 2016 came d.r.a.m's single Cha-Cha 2 years earlier. A track that would not only catapult him into the industry, but then also land him in some beef with arguably the biggest artist on the planet, Drake. Released back in 2014 on his first ever mixtape, No. 1 Epic Summer, thanks to its simple yet catchy chorus and beat, Cha-Cha instantly put d.r.a.m on the map. Along with cosigns from mainstream stars such as Chance the Rapper, as well as even Beyonce posting a video dancing to it, the viral success of Cha-Cha led straight to d.r.a.m's first record deal with Atlantic Records. But then, just a year later in 2015, came the most attention d.r.a.m had ever seen when Drake actually dropped a remix to Cha-Cha. Or at least so we thought.
That's a direct bite of Cha-Cha.
Yeah, it was.
New Drake on that Cha-Cha remix tweeted the official Apple Beats One account. Drake's Cha-Cha remix Hotline Bling is something new, reads this headline from The Fader. Drake's Cha-Cha remix from Billboard. Drake shares Cha-Cha remix on Beats One radio show, according to Pitchfork. On July 25th, 2015, while in the middle of his beef with Meek Mill, Drake would premiere 3 new songs on his OVO Sound radio show. The first one was Charged Up, a direct response to Meek, the second being a Lucy single titled Right Hand, and the third was, at least at first, a remix of d.r.a.m's Cha-Cha, before soon being renamed to Hotline Bling for the official release and then going on to become one of the biggest songs of Drake's career, with literally over 2 billion views on YouTube. Yeah, I feel I got jacked for my record, d.r.a.m tweeted after hearing Hotline Bling. But I'm good. Bitter though, cause after my performance, all I'm seeing is Cha-Cha and Hotline Bling comparisons on my timeline. We love Cha-Cha first, responds Erykah Badu. Very unique and raw. The truth is though, the sample in Hotline Bling is from Timmy Thomas's Why Can't We Live Together, which hovers around the exact same chord progression as Cha-Cha, also combined with a similar cadence, thus leading many fans to claim the two songs sound very similar.
I like to Cha-Cha, hey, on my cell phone.
You know, like in Jamaica you'll have a rhythm, and it's like everyone has to do a song on that beat, Drake told The Fader in regards to these biting accusations. Imagine that in rap or in R&B. So sometimes I'll pick a beat that's a bit like sunnier than usual and I'll try my hand at it. And that's kind of what Hotline Bling was.
But did Drake kill your record? Did it hurt your record when he put it out?
Yeah, it really did.
You know that as a DJ.
Damn, but I thought it was still gonna work on the charts.
Drake's now certified Diamond Smash Hotline Bling would of course significantly overshadow Cha-Cha. You took his sound, one Reddit user jokes. Drake, nah, rhythm. Oh well, alright then, nothing to see here. However, their beef did not end there. Almost 7 years later in 2022, Drake would reference the situation again on his collab album Her Loss with 21 Savage, rapping on the hook of Back Outside Boys.
Try to bring the John, tell me he ain't know how we Cha-Cha slide.
And once again, d.r.a.m wasted no time responding back, this time posting a video on Twitter, also revealing there was more that went down behind the scenes.
Hey, somebody tell Drake to shut about that man. 5 years ago, never even touched me. I pressed his ass. It's bodyguards, goddamn, I ain't gonna hold you, his bodyguards went to town on the kid. But his bodyguards did, not his. He ain't touched me. He's a, you know that. What's good with the one-on-one though, my baby? But he don't want to do that.
Although D.r.a.m has since admitted that he's now over the whole thing and it's water under the bridge, just a year after Hotline Bling released, D.r.a.m would get his sweet revenge back on Drake, dethroning him from the #1 spot on the charts. Broccoli was 1,000,000 times bigger than he'd ever thought possible. But as we now know, this would end up the peak of D.r.a.m's music career, right before he made his most costly mistake. You know what else though is a big mistake that I don't want any of you guys to make? Smelling a little musty this summer.
Brother, this guy stinks!
As the temperature continues to heat up, it's more important than ever to stay on top of your fragrance game. And there's honestly no better solution than today's sponsor, Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription that lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try out every month. So for example, you can see here the 4 recent scents they sent me from their website. My favorite I received this month is this Dolce & Gabbana cologne, the one for men. Featuring very pleasant notes of amber and ginger among other ingredients, this is definitely the scent I've been wearing the most. Then there's the Essential by Lacoste, which I've also got some compliments on, as well as this sandalwood and oak fragrance from Scents of Wood. And finally, my 4th is the Bountiful Cologne by Blue Atlas, yet another extremely pleasant aroma. These vials here that they come in are not only the perfect monthly amount of cologne, but I also love how portable they are. Just toss them in your backpack, travel bag, gym bag, your pocket, really anywhere you want to put them. If you're interested in trying Scentbird for yourself today, you can order your first fragrance for less than $8 using my promo code 11, or by scanning this QR code or clicking the link down below. With the ability to change your scent every month, avoiding the commitment and often high price tags that come with full bottles of designer cologne, including all of the big name luxury brands and literally over 800 scents plus new arrivals every month, you can never run out of smells to try, delivered straight to your door with no hassle. Again, be sure to head over to Scentbird and try this great deal out for yourself using my promo code 11, or by clicking the link down below for 55% off your first month. Thanks again, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Today, a lot of hip-hop fans look back on 2016 as being one of the best and most renovative years for music, and D.r.a.m's 8-time platinum hit Broccoli perfectly embodies that 2016 sound. After linking up with another buzzing SoundCloud rapper, Lil Yachty, thanks to some help from music legend Rick Rubin, first released on SoundCloud in April of 2016, again you literally could not escape Broccoli the entire year.
That song defined that era of life. 2016.
Thanks to its extremely catchy melodies, piano loop, and flute paired with Lil Yachty's self-dubbed bubblegum trap sound, hearing the two express their love for the magical green plant, Broccoli would become not only Yachty's first song to ever chart on Billboard, despite claiming he recorded his verse in just 6 minutes, but then also become D.r.a.m's biggest song of his career, currently approaching 1 billion streams on Spotify alone.
Ain't no, like you know what I'm saying, like just instantly. Yeah. And in the middle of the party, get off of me, one take. That whole hook was one take.
To keep his momentum rolling, in the fall of 2016, D.r.a.m released his debut studio album, Big Baby D.r.a.m, under Atlantic Records and Empire Distribution, with a deluxe edition a year later including huge features from Young Thug, Playboi Carti, Trippie Redd, and A$AP Rocky. Big Baby D.r.a.m was met with generally positive reviews. In addition to then joining Kendrick Lamar and Travis Scott on tour, as well as landing features on mainstream songs with Chance the Rapper and Calvin Harris, life seemed to be going great for D.r.a.m in 2017. However, looking back on it now, D.r.a.m admits that it was going a little too great. As with all that newfound fame, this is really where everything took a big turn for the worse. Despite being certified gold, Big Baby D.r.a.m would end up his only album released for the next 4 years. Obviously that's not going to be good for any artist's popularity to just go ghost like that for so long, but what happened next was 1,000,000 times worse in terms of marketability. In 2020 came the career-altering decision to change his artist name from D.r.a.m to his official government name Shelley, and although, as we'll see in a second, his reasoning behind the change was honestly respectable, again, from a business and marketing standpoint, changing your name as an already established artist is about the worst decision one can make, because after Broccoli took the internet by storm, everybody was familiar with the name D.r.a.m, which is actually an acronym for Does Real Ass Music, but by switching his name to something totally different in Shelley, as a casual listener who stumbles upon his music, they would have no idea that that's the same artist.
Was it a label issue or something like that, or not everything was straight? It's just
bro, look, Shelley. My mama named me Shelley after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandfather, his name was Shelley. My mother named me after him.
There's honestly so much power behind an artist's name, and we often just don't think much about it. Essentially their first form of identity. As d.r.a.m himself states, names mean everything in a world where it's so much white noise. There's so many things out there meant to take away your attention, and you're in competition with everything. By no means though is d.r.a.m the first artist to ever change their name, as plenty of today's biggest rappers started out under a different alias. However, 99% of the time these changes are either something super small like shortening your name, such as Lotto did from Mulatto, or dropping the lil from your name like Bow Wow, and usually you make this change before you get an 8-time platinum hit. d.r.a.m's first release under his new name was then his self-titled album Shelley, formerly known as d.r.a.m, in April of 2021. At a concise 10 tracks, this album was not the happy, upbeat trap sound that many fans knew d.r.a.m for, but instead a smooth R&B album full of soothing love songs, a total opposite from his previous hits.
You know, it's a step away from the d.r.a.m stuff, so Shelley.
In an effort to help fans make the transition easier, he even included formerly known as d.r.a.m at the end after Shelley, also hoping to still show up in search engines. However, while his core fanbase showed support, this gutsy move ended up costing him a lot of casual listeners who only knew him from Broccoli. Not to mention Shelley FKA d.r.a.m is not the most aesthetically pleasing stage name. As his final album released through Atlantic and Empire, this project would fail to reach the Billboard charts at all, clearly flying under many people's radar. There is no doubt that d.r.a.m's name change had a massive negative impact on his music career's popularity, but after hearing the true reason behind his decision, you have to respect it. This isn't a continuation of what came before, d.r.a.m explains when asked what he hopes the rebrand would accomplish. It's a new day. The truth is, while d.r.a.m is thankful for the success of his early hits which launched him into the mainstream spotlight, at the same time he felt that his versatility as an artist was being overshadowed by fans' expectations. Basically, he felt Broccoli trapped him in a box as an artist, when in reality d.r.a.m was trying to move away from that sound and image as a whole.
And then I also looked at it like, okay, so when you think of d.r.a.m, you think Broccoli, you think Cha-Cha.
I never wanted to be branded that, recalls d.r.a.m in an interview with Audio Mac. Broccoli was a record that was supposed to be cool for the pool. I had no idea it would come to encapsulate what my real range was. It was to the point where, for the average listener, that was my only thing. Who wants that? d.r.a.m was simply ready for a reintroduction and a fresh start in the industry, and he hoped that this new identity, Shelley, would allow him more creative freedom.
Those records took on a world of their own, and you know, I'm forever grateful for the successes of those records.
But combined with his desire to go the R&B route, there was also a little more motivation behind his name change. Shelley was symbolic to the changes that I made in not only my musical direction, but also my lifestyle in general. What a lot of fans don't know is that during the few years after Broccoli exploded and he blew up, while everything again seemed to be going great on the outside, behind the scenes d.r.a.m was really struggling with the fame. I wasn't really hip to what life was like at the top tier with that much exposure and attention. I was on some real rockstar shit. I could drink damn near a fifth a day and was on the powder and all of the other stuff. Like bro, I was f***ed up. The music was done.
Doing wild shit, being wild, like shit, it was like parties 3 or 4 times a week. I was getting f***ed up. I ain't gonna hold you.
d.r.a.m was spiraling down a dark path that even he admits was not going to end well. However, thanks to an intervention from friends, he would then go into addiction rehab for a few weeks in 2020 during the pandemic, which really opened his eyes to turn his life around. So that's exactly what he did. Combined with altering his eating habits as well as drinking addiction, d.r.a.m also began frequently working out in 2020, going on to lose nearly 60 pounds. But unfortunately, that same year came more terrible news for him too, as his mother, known to fans as Big Baby Mom and who even performed alongside him on Jimmy Fallon, passed away in November of 2020. I knew that change made her happy, recalls d.r.a.m of both his lifestyle and musical transformation. She knew about the life I was living, and that's not what she would have wanted. So that was all the motivation I needed. These past 2 years, d.r.a.m has continued to drop R&B projects, although he is no longer signed to Atlantic Records, instead releasing them independently, also returning back to the alias of d.r.a.m. Whether you agree with his reasoning or not, there is no denying that d.r.a.m's name change destroyed his popularity as an artist. However, not only is it his career and the choice entirely his own, but as it appears at the age of 35, d.r.a.m is happy now and finally back to enjoying the music he's making. Thanks again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video, and remember to use my promo code 11 for 55% off your first month.